styles of what recruitment is and what the kind of setup that one requires as far as recruitment goes. So basically, when I say resume rating, see, people have a lot of notions when it comes to resume rating and and all other things. Basically, resume yeah. Is it fine for with everybody? Is it visible? Hope everybody is able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. See how we say when you say what is an effective resume rating. Resume rating is a presentation of yourself. It is exactly how you present yourself to people. Some of the basic things that we need to know before making up a resume is, see, people are so casual about their resume. They are so light-hearted about their resume that they don't feel the effectiveness, the need to be presented. They feel it is a pre-gone conclusion. 90% of the people today, or I would say 80% of the people today, are failing just because they can't present themselves. If there is a particular ABC kind of a job which is there in the market, and you know that you have all these ABC skills that is available with you, then you apply, but then you don't even get a call. I'm sure most of you would have experienced this, where you apply but you never get a call from the company or from the management or from the particular HR that you are targeting to. Have we ever wondered why? See, you feel when you are presenting your resume, when you are presenting your credentials, you always feel, I have presented my resume, I am 100% matching to the kind of requirement that this guy has. So there is no doubt that these people will tomorrow morning come to my doorstep and offer me this particular job. That is the kind of notion that people has. And rightly so. They may be 100% matching to that particular job requirement. They may be 100% fit to that job requirement also. But do you know, you are not the only person who would have sent your profile to them. You're not the only person who is, who is wanting the job. There are so many other people in that particular fraternity with the same trend, with the same skill sets, with the same know-how, who have applied for the job. So what makes it special? What makes you special so that the interviewer can come to you, or the company can even call you for an interview? See, one thing, the objective of your CV is to make them sit in front of you. Rest is how you conduct yourself for the interview. But then to make them sit in front of you is not that easy. That only can be reflected through your resume. So it is very important, very important, that how effective you are when you especially present yourself in the form of your resume. So going forward, if you ask me, the first step that comes around is the purpose. See, always whenever you do a resume, you should understand what is the purpose of you doing your job. Yes, even I did my resume for Hello.
Yes, audible.
Hello, I'm audible. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there was a blackout in connection. So, one very employer sees what he wants in you in that particular resume. He will have to see it. See, otherwise, I mean, so basically, you can summarize your resume as a short description account of all your work, your experience, your education qualification, achievement, and your skills. One thing you always have to remember is it is your ticket to the interview. So when it is something which will change the course of your life, one thing that you have to keep in your mind, it has to be a true depiction of yourself. There is a saying in every language, basically, even in Kannada also, that you don't lie to your doctor and your lawyer. Same goes here, that you cannot lie in your resume. Be whatever. See, even if there is some job discrepancy that you want to close, even if there is some experiences that you don't want to show, even if there is some failures in your education which you want to hide, if you ask me, the employer or the prospective company will be more than happy, will actually appreciate if you open up to them and say, yes, this is, I had a backlog in this subject in this semester, I couldn't clear it then, and then I got it cleared in the next semester. 100, rather than him finding out at some point of time. Or if you have a job gap, say you have some job gap for some kind of a reason, for any reason, be it personal or professional, for about 6 to 8 months or 1 year in your career, people usually 90% of the people, they sum it up. They do something to ensure that the gap, they don't show that vacuum in their CV. It is extremely dangerous. Today, you give me any CV, build up CV, cover up and give it to me. Within half an hour, I'll come back to you and say, what is the discrepancy in this CV, even though you don't show it to me. There are tools in the market. There are ample availability in the market, which can easily tell you what you're lying and what you are not. Sometimes there are about 4 or 5 cases where I have seen the actual picture from their Facebook account. So today the social media world is so huge, and your personal depiction is so large in the market that you can be seen everywhere. Their world is so small today. So one thing you have to keep basically in mind is it is a true depiction of yourself. You cannot lie on your resume. As far as possible, try and avoid. Okay, this is the basic purpose. And when you say, if you ask me, it is the mantra. Then see, before starting to write a resume, there are some questions that you need to ask yourself. There are some of the things that needs to be defined. So see, you just can't say, it's not just pull out a piece of paper and then start writing my resume. I was born here, I studied here, I wrote this, I wrote that, I worked there. You have to ask about 5 to 6 questions to yourself. What do you want your resume to be defined as? How do you want your resume to be defined as? See, the definition of your resume is extremely important, because the kind of focus that you have for your targeted job search is extremely defined. If you're an electrical engineer, you can't be finding job in a civil market. Like vice versa, if you are a civil engineer, you can't define yourself as a computer engineer, or you can broad base your CV to such an extent where even a call center guy, even a BPO guy, or even a some XYZ guy will come and call you for a job. It doesn't happen that way. So your resume first has to be defined. Then what has to be your resume format, and what has to be the content of your resume? That you question. How do I format my resume? And what has to be the content? This format and content will go in detail in my next slide, in the slides further. And then what is the objective? Very, very, very important question you have to put to yourself. What is the objective of my resume? Whether my objective of my resume is to find a job, if yes, full-time job, part-time job, whether I need to go get an intern, I need to get notice, or I'm just opening up for any job, or if I'm just testing what is in the market. Sometimes people do, why did you apply? Sir, just I saw if I get any calls from the market. So I just applied. I wanted to test myself. So Ulta starts testing the patience of the employer. So it doesn't happen that way. One has to be very serious. So certain questions has to be put forth before making up this resume. What is your targeted audience? Now, whom do you want to target? It's extremely important. There is expected audience that you know that these are the people that I would like to place with, like to work for, I would like to put my CV with, I would like to present themselves. That is where you find a possible target audience and you don't go out of that option. Otherwise, see, today gone are those days where people say, get me any kind of a job. They are very specific. Today's young generation is very, very, very specific. If I have studied computer science, if I have done engineering, if I have done aeronautical, they are very clear about their goals, objectives, and what they want to do. So the target audience becomes extremely crucial for go with the perfect target. So your target audience and what is your target of writing your resume? These 2 points for you to know beforehand is extremely important. Then what are your options? See that again a question to yourself, because there are so many places where people go and reach out even though they are not their option. It is not their option. Suppose if civil is not my option, electronical is not my option, electrical is not my option, but still I go and land up there just for the idea of getting a job. Today people come to me, an engineer, BE grads come to me asking for a job in call centers. If they wanted to do a job in, why did they do the BE? After second PU, they would have started earning long back. So these are the kind of questions that you have to put yourself. What are your job options? It's execution. One more very, very, very important thing, what the people usually falter is the geographical preference. Geographical preference. What is area? Okay, today people come to put their CV, I send it across. We have a job in Chennai, we have a job in Hyderabad, we have a job in Pune. Are you ready? What are my geographical preference? My preference, no, or whether you want yourself only to Bangalore, whether you want to confine yourself only to Hyderabad, South India is okay, anywhere in India, okay. Overseas jobs are okay. So all these questions, your geographical preference is also a very, very, very important thing, which maybe you and your family maybe also be involved in taking the decision, but you take the decision and then ask all this before you start making your CV. So that is when you get a departure. Is when you have a and the target and the geographical preferences. Now, once you have answers to all, there are kinds of CVs that we can take up. One, see, these two things are extremely different. One CV is only for freshers and one CV for experienced people. If I'm sure in this group, I don't know whether everybody are freshers or everybody are experienced. So whatever it is, irrespective of that, the objective and the credentials of a fresher is totally different when it comes to the objective and credentials of a experienced guy. Now, when you say fresh, the mistake in CVs, highest proposition of not to do things is being done by freshers only, because usually when people get experience, they have a particular criteria that they add to their profiles, to their resumes. But then freshers, if I ask a question here, I mean, I know it is not interactive right now, but if I were to ask, honestly answer this question. Why did you make yours like this? You know what 8 out of 10 people have answered to me? Sir, because my friend did the same thing. My uncle gave this to me. My cousin is in US. He is the same format. So I also did this format. See, 8 out of or 9 out of 10 questions, or it is a copy. They have never taken their questions, which was like the previous slide. They would have never answered those questions to themselves, or never even taken their questions to themselves. It is like usne kiya, maine kiya. ಅವನು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ತಗ ಇಸ್ಕೋ, ಅವನು US ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ನಾನು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ criteria that happens. This is not how it works. Each and every objective, each and every CV, what you want to do is entirely different from what I want to do. What I am different from what has to do. Your composition has to be, your composition of your resume is purely yours. It is your document. You can't be copying it from someone, or you can't just invite a format from someone. You just It's not a fill in the blanks that you do. It is your CV. It is a true replication of yourself. So when it comes to freshers, keep in mind any fresh CV, I'm talking about people, should not exceed 2 pages. Any CV, freshers I'm talking, it's not for experienced people. This slide is exclusively for freshers. It is CV should not exceed 2 pages, number one. Secondly, what should be defined in your CV when it is a fresh CV? One, your objective. Like, what is your plain port objective in what you want to do? Second, your personal credentials, simple personal credentials. This is the main thing where I have seen blunders being done by freshers. When I say personal credentials, what is your personal credential? Your email ID, your phone number, max to max is your area of, place of stay, where you want to stay. These are a couple of things which is very simple personal credentials. I have seen when I say personal credential, people say hobby, mountaineering, singing, I'm very honest. What is your, I'm very, very exclusive, I'm worth. See, these are not for you to write or not for you to show. These are the things for, and whether you like cricket, whether you want to sing, whether you do mountaineering, I have employer is least bothered. He's not employing you because you because you well. Please understand. He only needs your basic simple credentials. I have seen a fresher CV. What they have, all nonsense things they have. And what is the time each employer gives to your CV to read your CV? Do you have any idea what is the time that any employer takes to read your CV? Maximum 1 minute. Maximum I'm talking, not more than 40 to 60 seconds. Now, if you were to make your mountaineering skills, you were to note your singing skills and everything in your CV, he will directly, your CV will reach his dustbin. So make it crisp. Then a summary of your qualification of education. Now, this is a very tricky question. See, always there is one mantra what we say. Add numbers that quantify your access to that company. Now, what do you mean by add numbers that quantify your access to that company? See, you should show numbers which show you highly. For example, if I am in SSLC, in my 10th grade, if I am taken 55%, if my PU marks is say 65%, and in my engineering, if I have scored 80%, I make up a table in my CV saying that I studied 10th in this school in this year, my percentage 50%, PU 60%, B is 80%. Why do you want to show that 50 and 60% in your CV? That does not quantify your number. Suppose all three numbers are dull, but you are capable. So don't show any numbers. Why do you even want to show that number? Is it required? Is it required to show that number? No. See, only show numbers which quantify what you want to do, which shows high of you. That is wide. What I'm trying to say, you should quantify your numbers. So problem at the moment. Okay. Petraji, am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So, see, how your CV should exceed is your simple personal credentials, summary of your qualification, education. As I said, if your education numbers are not good, don't show those numbers. Again, photo. Somebody, if somebody looks like me, see, again, I'll go to the extent of, see, if I'm doing a fresher's resume and this is how I look, then I will not put my photo. No, I will not put my photo. See, CV is all about presenting the positives about you. मैं किसको मेरा ये chances grappled by myself. No, I will not do that. So that is basically idea of add numbers that quantify yourself. Extremely important when you do your CV. Please remember that. Okay, then any additional qualification I would have done some with some only recognized things where hello.
Yes, audible.
Yeah, Rataji, there is some problem. I think we have to get on with it. We have to continue with this problem today. Anyway, now it is clear, right?
It's clear. Yes.
Yeah. So, project work experience. Now, project work experience, I will just say that line. I will show you through a CV format as to what exactly people make the biggest blunder when it comes to project work. See, freshers have to understand that they don't have any work experience with them. So what is it that they can show as a work experience? It is only their project. But then they write one line, did my project at so and so and so and so on this thing. How you can explain a project? Because that is the only skill which attracts your employer at that point of time, because you are a fresher, you don't have any work experience to show. Then if you have done any intern, I will come back to in full detail when I go through a format of the CV for freshers. I will come back to in full detail as to what all your project work experiences can have. Okay. Then an intern work experience. If you have done some interns or anything anywhere, that can be added. Skills, any skills, awards and activities. Here, any reputed recognized award that you have got some big award in debate, or some national award, some state award, some very big institution award, those things mentioned. Any volunteer experience. See, volunteer experience again is very tricky. I mean, you can do your roadside volunteering also, and you can get volunteered with state run institutions also. So be extremely clear. As I said, add things that quantify yourself only. Not every volunteer. I also go and clean my entire building every weekend. That is not a volunteer experience. They would like to put it in my CV. So, okay, if I've done something, say with BPAC, or if I've done something with the Government of India in association with BBMP, that accounts where people will also feel good that yes, this guy, apart from studying and other things, has some kind of a rich experience to show. And references and detailed personal info at the end. Okay, now this is a composition of your resume for freshers. I will just go to the format. I mean, this is the composition. Now I'll go to the exact format as to how it should be. Fine. See, this is how it should be. As I said, name. Then there is my resume, your email, mobile. Nothing much. People usually at the top, they start writing, each and everything. Their mountaineering skills, singing skills, has nothing. Then there is a career objective, if at all it is any. Then summary. Okay, your resume summary in 1 or 2 points. Then your academic credentials, qualification is very important. Where did you pass institute? Very important. Which university? Year of passing, percentage. Again, I say, if your percentage is not good, if you feel your numbers are not pretty enough to show, remove this column. This percentage column you remove. No harm. But don't throw up numbers which will cut down your chances of getting in. Then if you have done any winter or summer internships. Now, the most important thing of project, this is extremely important, guys. Please look. See, usually projects, when people say, they write 1 line or 2 line, a maximum 3 lines for their project. See how your project can be defined. Now, first, in which field you have done your project? What is the title of the project? Who supervised your project? Even if it is an institution or if it is your professor, anybody you can write. Which organization you have done your project? Generally, projects are done outside your colleges or outside your institution. So even that, or if it is within your college, you can write your college names. Now, duration of the project. Generally, it varies from 2 to 6 months. So whatever is the duration. What is that project on? What is the understanding of the project? Understanding the sense summary of the project. On which platform did your project was done? What is the objective of your project? Like why you are doing this project and who is the targeted audience for this project? What are the technical specifications? What are the technical descriptions? What is the performance index? That is, after your project, what is how much successful you are in terms of your the project's performance? Who is the end user? Who is actually the targeted audience for this project? What is the value addition that your project has given to that particular institution or society or whatever that you have designed your project for? What are the soft skills required? If at all there are any soft skills also required for your project, please mention. What are the tools used and what is the success ratio? Have anyone thought that we can explain project in such big thing? See guys, this is what you have to explain because you don't have any work experience. As and when you get to your first job and you complete 2 years in your first job, remove the project experience from your CV and add your job experience. There your CV becomes shorter. Then all those things are not required because your next prospective employer will not see all these things because you already have 2 years of job experience behind you. Okay, so but for a fresher, it is extremely important that you depict your project in all these styles. It's extremely important because none of the people whom I have seen, they know that this project can be explained in this kind of a criteria also. So please take your projects very seriously and then don't do a fill in the blank. Take out your project notes or project diary, whatever you have done, open it, completely go through and fill up all these things in proper detail so that your employer has a prospective idea of what you have done as far as your project is concerned. Okay, then your workshops or any seminars that you have attended, any achievements, any professional certifications that you have taken in terms of your course or anything else, professional activity, what are your strength? I mean, not actually required in terms of your strength. If it is anything related to your work or project or college, only then mention. Again, I say strength is not integrity, hard working, those are your strength, but then the employer is least bothered to know all those things. Then technical skills, academic achievement. I mean, like I have given you examples, topper throughout 10th, best student award, distinction in all subjects, this award of excellence in 12th. Now, anything like this, matches your academic achievement. Then co-curricular activity. I mean, if you have done all those things I have just mentioned, they've given you a couple of 3 or 4 examples that you can take up. Personal detail, date of birth and your father name. People elaborate their personal. I have seen one to 2 pages personal detail. Please don't do that. On the top is your email ID and your phone number, and below is your date of birth and your father name. Max to max, you can add your area of interest, geographical area of interest, whether you want to, you are available for a job throughout India or whether you are confined to a particular place. That also you can add. Then self-assessment and declaration for a fresher. Declaration is extremely important. You have to declare that whatever you have said is true. Okay, and you solemnly affirm that the particular details given in the particular CV, whatever I have provided, is true. And see, but remember, guys, as and when you go on with experience, when you go to 2 years experience, this declaration is not required. Co-curricular activity you can cut down. Project size you can completely cut down. So see, prioritize as and when your job tenure of your job and your job experiences increase, then all these things will cut down. This is for a fresher. I'm trying to tell you. Fine. So then this is for the experienced people. Now we just discussed about what a fresher CV was. Now if there is a CV for an experienced guy, what we can take up in front of experienced guy? See, experienced guy, there is no format. I will not prescribe any particular format. I showed you a format for the fresher guys, but then experienced guys, they can have any kind of a format based on their experience. but content is extremely important. So they have to give a special impetus on their content now. So if you ask objective, definitely, even though they're experienced, they should have some objective because they're obviously applying for a job. Then again, a simple personal credentials. Please limit your personal credentials. Summary of your education qualification, that is the same as what you have done for fresher. Any additional qualification certification acquired. I mean, in case obviously as you grow up, there may be some additional courses that you have done, additional academics that you would have acquired. So all those details. Then starts your work experience. You see, there was so many other things when it comes to a freshers. Now all those is not required. Now you directly go to work experience. Start with reverse chronological order, where your current experience you name first and then go back accordingly. Suppose if in the last 5 years I've worked with 2 different companies, on the top it has to be your current company where you are currently working, right? And then go back to your previous company and aftermath, I mean, in case there are any. Then skills, your achievement at work, references and personal information. References, see, now that you have started working, obviously you will have a reference. You will have somebody whom you are reporting to, you will have your colleague or something. So references plays a very major role once you start your CV, once your CV becomes an experienced CV. Fine. Now, to give you an idea, I mean, I will not recommend any format as far as the experienced people goes, but then just to give you an idea, this is one experience CV which I liked very much and thought I will share with you. See, again, there is a name on the topmost, mobile number, email ID and address. Then, this is the objective. Then this is the summary as to what this guy is doing. See, location preference, anywhere in India. So this particular guy is open for a job anywhere in India. Extremely important that you mention that. Then area of expertise. What is the area of expertise? What is his profile summary? And what are his skill set? And then comes to his growth path, and from 7 to 10 where he was, from 10 to 11 where he was, and 11 to after 11th when. So this is currently he's with this company, then previously was with this. Again, education qualification, see, date of birth and languages. Very, see, as far as possible, keep your personal credentials to a maximum low. Your passport number, people say my passport is about to expire, my wife passport number, I am married with 2 kids and 2 children, 2 kids and whatever, not required. So this is the basic format which the employer also like. I am telling you again, he will give very little time to go through. He will not have time all in the world to see who are your children, what are your hobbies and everything. So this you can take it up as a benchmark. But then I will not prefer anybody to have a benchmark with respect to experience. That can vary. Experience CVs can vary to a large extent. Then have some basic mantras. Now you know why you should do a CV. Now you should know what are the questions that you need to ask yourself before doing a CV. Now you know how a fresher CV should look like. Now you know how a experienced CV should look like. Then there is a basic mantra. These are something which you should never forget, whether it is fresher CV, whether it is experienced CV, or whether it is 50 years experience CV. These mantras are a fundas you should never forget. Number 1, you will never get a second chance to create a first impression, right? Your resume itself is a first impression of yourself. So you don't get a second chance to create a first impression. So what you need to do is you have to capture the reader's interest. Remember, your CV is capturing your reader's interest. Reader, when I say, it is your prospective employer. So it must have enough impact to grab attention of your prospective employer. These 4 things, whenever you are doing your CV, experience, whatever, don't forget. Right? These are the 4 basic mantras that you should keep in mind when you do your CV. Then, when I say, in one of my mantra, I said resume has to be attention grabbing. So what do you mean attention grabbing? Some people say I sing well. That is also attention grabbing. People who like singing, they will see my CV. I am mountaineering. So people who like mountain, similar interest, they will see my CV. Right? You are absolutely right. But He is not looking at mountain hiring skills or singing skills in you. He's looking your CV for a particular skill set and is very confined to that. So resume has to be attention grabbing because it is the first point of interaction between employer and you, right? You don't go and sit in front of him. See, sadly, I'm sharing a personal experience. Many people have the capability to get that particular job. They have the capability to do that particular job. They have the capability to ensure that they are very successful in that particular job. But unfortunately, they don't get a chance to go and sit in front of the employer just because their CV is not correct. I'll give you one small example. In very big companies, large companies like HP, Dell, and these companies, Accenture, there are thousands of divisions, thousands of people, and each day there are thousands of CVs which usually goes into that company. What happens? If I send my CV as a fresher to Accenture, say any big company, let us not name any company, any big company, if I give it to them, what they will do you think it will directly go on go to the table for him to consider whether it is suitable? No, it will go to their junior most HR fellow. What this person is doing, HR executive, he will give your details. Basically, he will do data entry. Nataraj Gowda. Then he will write his email ID. Nataraj Gowda's email ID. Then he will write his phone number. Then he will write father name. Some 8 to 9 common points. Then he comes to a particular CV looking for some ABC kind of a requirement, and then he sees in your CV that that requirement is not there. So he just says this requirement is not there, rejected, and he sends back your CV. Your complete credentials is there. Next time, Nataraj Gowda acquires that particular knowledge and then sends his CV to the same company. What happens? It goes to somebody else. He takes his CV. He first opens his system and say Nataraj Gowda. It will show 100 Nataraj Gowda. Then he will put Nataraj Gowda's phone number. It will show 1 Nataraj Gowda. And then he says this guy is already applied. And why I have rejected him last time? He does not have that experience. So do you think that guy will have the time? Oh, that time he did not have that experience. Let me see whether he has acquired it this time. Do you think he will go through all those things? No. So when I say it is a first point of interaction between employer and you have to be crisp. That is what I mean when you say it has to be attention grabbing. See, spend time on preparing targeted, effective, and error-free document. This has to be error-free. There is no room for grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes. I myself get irritated lot. Say, CV is a very, very important document. As if you are registering your house or buying a property, will you buy if you have any spelling mistakes or any mistakes in the kind of width or length of your flat or something? No. You see it with the utmost care. The same care has to be given here. See, you are trying to send a CV to get something which is most important thing in the life, and you coolly make spelling mistakes. You don't make a format. You send it error. That shows your carelessness. So please ensure that it's an error-free document. As I said earlier, hiring manager spends not more than 40 to 60 seconds per resume. After this session, just pick up a newspaper, and see within 40 to 60 seconds, take up a document and see within to 40 seconds, or take your own CV and try within 40 to 60 seconds how much attention you can catch within your CV. You will come to know how much attention that employer will catch. It's extremely important. These things are extremely important that you have error-free and a proper document. Then you have to make your point within this small window. The small window of 40 to 60 seconds, what you have, all your point you need to make. Like when I showed in that project, what is the project, who did it? If it is very crisp, that guy once he sees the table, he understands, okay, this is. Or if you write a big paragraph, one full sheet, just like a para in your, about your project, why will he read? Fine. So a clean and crisp resume will qualify you for the interview. Remember, guys, CV is all about going and sitting there. Then it is your talent. We will discuss how we will face interview in some other session. But then to first go and sit there for the interview is extremely important, and it can happen only with your resume. Fine. So now let us come to the tips of writing a great resume. So what all you should have in mind when you want to write a great resume? Write resume with target in mind and be appropriate. That we have already told you, you should have a target. The first, remember when I asked you what questions you will ask for yourself, what is your target? So that target, whether I want to apply here, whether I want to become whether I want to become an engineer, whether I want to become a site engineer, whether I want to become a recruitment consultant, whether I want to become a manager of finance. This target has to be crystal clear. That is when you can adopt similar required skill sets or quantums in your profile. You can't keep it general. Okay. Then customization of resume can increase your chances of shortlisting. And when you customize it, like if I'm a civil engineer and if I want a job as a site engineer or as a civil engineer, then I have to customize it to that particular quantum. I can keep it open. I can't say I'm good at computers, I'm good at software, so you give me a civil engineer job. If you being good at software will not qualify you for getting a civil engineer job. Okay, so you have to customize it. Second, analyze the job ads and job descriptions and compose the resume to address the requirement. See, extremely important. People today, unfortunately, distribute their CVs like pamphlets. And what they do, what I've observed is they just make a bundle. So today it is online. I mean, otherwise, usually make a format, click, attach, just keep on sending. They don't know whether why they are sending, for which job they are sending, whether that particular company has any chance. They don't know. They are killing their own chances in future for the same company simply by applying. And why they have applied? What is the reason you have applied? Arey, usne kar diya. They have applied. Yeah. Hey, you applied? Okay, I will also apply. Why? What if she gets job? I don't get job. What he gets job? I don't get job. No, he will also not get job if that the profile is not matching. Just because he has applied does not give you a license to go and apply. Fine if he has applied. If your skill set is not matching, there is no need for you to apply. Unnecessary your record will go to that company and it will be registered. And if that company has a policy, which many companies has, like, they will not take the same people within 1 year or 2 years of getting rejected. So after which, even if you send your CV is rejected, so you are killing your own chances. So you have to analyze the job ads, job descriptions, and don't distribute your CV like a pamphlet. Your CV is not an election pamphlet. Okay, your CV has to be customized and it has to be given at places which you feel is worth for the skill set and for the customization that you have done, and if it is completely matching to your target. Okay, then short and sweet obviously is preferred if you're using your resume to apply for a specific position. Use a common version while uploading your profile on internet or applying into. So this is again very, very, very important. When I say common version, what happens, you have to, and I will go to the next point, because next 2 points are also in concussion. What I want to discuss now. Do not shoot same resumes to all jobs. Keep track of all places that you have applied with date and format. Now, when I say common version by uploading your profile, what does that mean? See, suppose I go and register myself on Naukri.com. I would have given some particular format there. In Naukri.com, when I have registered, I am waiting for my 8th semester results in BE, but still I have made my profile on Naukri. I got my 8th semester results. I am first class. Then I go and make my profile in monster.com, where I say I am BE pass, first class, everything. Then I go and make my profile in LinkedIn or somewhere else where with the current CV. Then you are giving a chance for three difference of you in the internet. Suppose if I want to do a reference check of you, what I will do, I will open your Naukri, I will open your Monster, I'll open your LinkedIn and say, Bagar, this guy is lying. Yes, even though you are not lying, even though you have forgot to depict, just because you have issued your CV like pamphlet, you don't know what all blunders you have done. So please use a common version. When you want to change your version, ensure that you change in all places that you have it online. Whether it is Naukri.com, whether it is Monster.com, whether it is LinkedIn, whether it is Shine, wherever you have it on the net. Today, internet is a very, very, very small place. Reference check is very easy for employers like me. Just by if your social media profile says you are still studying, and if your LinkedIn says you are working, there is a discrepancy. Even if your Facebook, for example, if you have not updated what you are doing, and if you updated it in your other version, then obviously there's an iota of doubt in my mind. Why this guy is not shown here? Why this guy is lying there? You may be very true. You may have overseen it, but still it give rise to suspicion in my mind. Likewise, in all employers also. Today, everybody does the same way. Okay, so please have a common version and keep track. Extremely important. Say last month 20th, I have sent my CV to Fact Personal Private Limited. 21st, I have sent to BALC. So keep track. I have sent on 21st to BALC. Which profile you have sent? On 20th, I have sent to Fact Personal. Which profile you have sent? Suppose after 1 month you get a call from BALC saying that tomorrow the managing director wants to meet you for an interview. You have last month sent so many CVs that you don't even know which version you have sent to them. And in the mail, if you take up a new version and go to them, that managing director will kick you out, saying, "By Bugger, you have sent me one profile, you are bringing one more profile, you are lying." Please keep track of what all the places where you have applied with the date and the format that you have sent. Okay, tracking is extremely important because when there is a call from your interviewer, you know what you have sent to him. This is exactly what I was talking to. When you have a call, you know what you have sent, what date you have sent, what, and if there is a in case at that date you have not added something, and if you have added something now, you can take up the latest version, and beforehand you can tell the interviewer, sir, last month my CV did not have Java because I had yet to finish my course. Now I have completed the course and updated my profile with the Java certification. I have added an additional skill set. The employer will be happy. He will like it. One, for the gesture that you have been upfront. Two, that you have added a extra skill set without I mean for more benefit of the company probably. So that tracking of your resumes where all you send is also extremely important. Then what all your resumes should prove. Then we'll come to place like, resume, what should it have? Prove that you are a better choice than your competition. Now how you do that? Now within your resume, if you are to prove that you are a better choice than competition, my only simple funda is, people usually what they do is they copy. Stop copying. I can see if there is a CV from a particular college, if I get, when we go to campus interviews, I get 300 to 400 CVs, same format, just name, phone number, email ID is changed. Some cases they will copy that also. Thankfully, they would have changed the name. Okay, so it's just that the question of being you remember, imagine if 300 CVs, when I was in PS Shimoga, no, in some other college which I remember, not in PS, 300 resumes were the same format, same except for their name and email IDs and the phone number, obviously. Okay, so see, what is there for me to see? I have to check, make all 300 sit in front of me. What is the difference? How am I shown that this guy is better than him or he is better than her? No. So you have to have your own mindset. You answer those first slide questions, then start writing your CV yourself. Then be specific about your achievements and targets. See, achievements targets, sometimes you get so carried away that you tend to write half a page about your achievement. No, be very specific. What did you get? Where, if you see my fresher format, one liner, top to the 12th standard. I want just want see that catches the eye of the employer. Value addition in your previous job. If they are experienced people, what is the value addition that you have done in your previous job or in your previous experience? Mention technology skills that you have used in various projects. Obviously, if it is an IT or electrical, electronics, or today information science, you would have worked on various projects. So what is that value addition that you would have done for the different projects? Keep it short and simple. That is, again, any explanation, please keep it crisp and simple. If there is any doubt, go to that resume format or fresher format of explaining the project. Everything was crystal driven and it has to be there. Fine. Use the right font size. See, that is also extremely, sometimes we get profiles, each experience with different font styles, very, Gaza kind of very, very, very loud colors. These are not required. I mean, CP has to look professional. Looking professional is also extremely important. Fine. Recruiters are interested. See, always remember, recruiters are interested in your latest experience, latest job, latest qualification. If you highlight what you have done 20 years back, if you highlight what you have done 10 years back, nobody is bothered. Because obviously, even if you have taken a something big over 10 years back, all those skill set you would have forgotten by now. It is 10 years down the line, right? So recruiters are usually interested in your latest things. And again, don't write unnecessary things. I have said enough about what not to write unnecessary things. Please don't write that. Nobody is interested in those things. Fine. Then references. Every resume has to have some references. Now, people usually do blunder. Why references are important? Why they are important? See, if I am getting a job, I will give my friend's reference only, right? And if my employer calls him, he will definitely speak good about me. I will not give my enemy's reference to the company who, if they call, they say, they will not say bad about me. I will not give those kind of people. Even the companies knows that, but still they have a policy of taking references. In freshers, it is much the more important. So how they judge, if the references that you have given is from your own family, or if they ask your friend, or if it's your brother, father, from immediate, then obviously there is an iota of doubt in the employer mind that this reference, obviously your brother will speak good about yourself. So when you have references, please mention details of professionals, your employer, in case if you are experienced, and don't mention your present employer. That I feel there's no need for you to explain. When your previous employer, then your professors in case of freshers, teachers, your immediate bosses. See, that gives the that strength for the prospective employer to understand that this guy has given the reference of his boss. That means he would have worked well. The synergy is going good. So these kind of conclusions will be drawn. So obviously, you can also give some people of repute in the society, some professors, again, which will quantify to your particular line. When I say people of repute, where you give a minister's reference, MLA reference, that will not do. What I'm talking is within the quantum of your work ethics, or within your work qualification, or whatever. Your reference should address your talent and should enrich your employer with the confidence that you will be a good employee. So why reference? You may do very well in your previous office, you may not do well here. You may do not well there, you may do well here. So reference, why? It's a general idea of how good you can be. That's all. It can be entirely wrong, but then it's just a general idea. It's a reference that has come from long and it is continue. This will definitely continue. So giving references are extremely important. Okay, ensure that you give your references, and whomever reference you are given, ensure that you give your references also a copy of your resume, because whenever the prospective employer calls them, they should see your CV, or they should at least know enough things about you to answer them. If they say, sir, Sudheendra, who is he? Don't remember. Oh, okay, that fellow. Okay, he was good. If I answer that way, then then it gives a very bad picture. Then that person should be told that, sir, you may get a call from my prospective employer today. But professor, you may get my call from my prospective employer today. So please give. This is my CV. Please check, and if you have any doubts, see from my CV, or if there is anything else that you need to know, ask me. But then when the call comes, ensure that you speak to them in the best possible way. Please ensure that you also give vice versa, like how good the references you give to the company, ensure references also equally know good about you. Fine. Now all these things are fine. Now how do you format? This is only about the style. How do you customize your CV? Now divide your profile into three things. One, main heading, next subheading, and then content. What do you write in terms of content? Okay. Ensure same fonts for each of these throughout your resume. That is, if your main heading has one style of font and one font size, same has to be throughout your resume. Likewise for subheadings, likewise for content or explanation. Okay, don't first company content something else, second company content bold, third company italics. Don't do like that. I mean, it looks very odd. Then used bold letters, preferably used bold letters for main headings. Only for main headings, use bold letters. Ensure all timelines are proper with respect to education and work experience. Guys, this is again extremely important. What happens, why these timelines? Suppose I get your CV and if I say that you are BE passed, I am looking for a BE who has passed out this year. but you have just said BE pass and I'll call you for interview. Then I come to know that you have passed out in 2017. Then I'll say, sorry, sir, we are, sorry, boss, we are only taking people for this year. You are supposed to go back. So timelines, even if you, for an experienced people, which date you left that job, which date you started next job. If there is a big gap, what you are giving, I mean, if it is a 15-20 days gap is fine, but if the gap is about, say, close to 3-4 months, then include that gap and say what you are doing. Even if you are not doing anything, please mention. But include that timeline from April 10th to say November 1st, not doing, I mean, for some personal commitment. Then November 1st, you joined that company and you continued. Please ensure your timeline, one for education, one for a work experience, extremely important throughout your CV. Then you design an overall similar design scheme where you have to put bullet points, where you have to put paragraphs. I showed you the second CV, which I liked extremely. He had complete his experience with bullet points with images, and then his complete CV. That was too good. So like that, you have to have a similar pattern everywhere. Make the resume professionally looking and pleasing to read. You yourself read that document. When see, if there is a document, if there is a photo cover of a particular movie in my room, I would like to pick it up and see. Even though if I was if my newspaper on the top says something very frenzy, very nice, then I like to pick up the newspaper and read. Just think if you feel the same about your CV when you look at the format. That is all it counts. Format has to be pleasing. Fine. Never include any false information. That is, I've been saying from the past, no to false information. In case, guys, they find out that job, though, definitely gaya, but then all your future is in jeopardy. See, today there are blacklisting is so easy. Even in your profile in Naukri.com or LinkedIn, I can blacklist your CV. There are certain ways to do it. Okay, so once done, all your prospective employers in the future or anybody that you are even applying will come to know. So please, or if there is anything that you don't want to show, take professional help of what you need to do there. If there is a big gap, or if there is something you have failed, something, there is a certain way how you can predict that. And don't come up with even though if it is true, people say, why after completing your job, you didn't do any job for last 2 years? And why you have come to me now? Sir, my father was not well. Sir, I had a personal problem. I went to my native. See, what as an employer, what I feel, this bugger not get job anywhere for the last 2 years and is still trying. So be honest. See, don't even though sometimes if it is true, people will not buy these excuses because these excuses have been given too far enough for anybody to believe. Okay, then the objectives and profiles, the top 2 lines of your resume, how it can be a small statement which includes the job title, what you are seeking. You can have a job title, what you are seeking, and the reason why you should be considered for that position is always you should have in your objective. That is for experienced people. For freshers, it is a general objective. Fine. And then a career profile. Again, a small statement which highlights like how this guy had done. I showed you one CV as a format. He had written an excellent objective and a very beautiful career profile. That way, where it quantifies it speaks about your qualification, it speaks about the description, and it speaks about everything that matches the job that you are applying for and gives a confidence that to your new employer. Fine. Then your contact information. Again, contact information again is extremely important. What is your name, your address, state, postal code, email address, telephone number. Ensure that whenever you're applying for a job, you give the telephone number which is currently live, which people can contact you easily. Fine. And in case if you are currently working in a place, you are not supposed to use your telephone at working hours, mention that. Between 9 to 5, please contact on this number. From 6 to 11, 6 to next day morning, whatever, contact on this number. Please mention that. Please be very clear. Then professional social media affiliations are extremely important for you to mention. Okay, what all those professional social media affiliations? See, there are, it's not that you write your Facebook detail, you write your Instagram detail, you write your Snapchat detail. We are not asking that. There are some professional social media affiliations, like first and foremost is LinkedIn. I suggest if somebody have not registered themselves on LinkedIn, go and register it today right away, and then ensure that you put your register LinkedIn address on your CV. And Twitter, to a certain extent, Twitter also matters. So if you don't have a Twitter ID, please go to your Twitter ID, make it, create a Twitter ID, or if you've still not incorporated your Twitter ID in your resume, please do that. In resume objectives, final objectives, use short bullet points. We have discussed, highlight your major achievements, use correct numbers and percentages, correct timelines, don't hide flaws in work history. Absence of dates may confuse employers. Check for grammar and typing mistakes. No excuse for typing mistakes. If sending resume by email, please use PDF format if possible. Usually employers prefer PDF format because within the organization it cannot be countered, it cannot be damaged, it cannot be damaged in the sense it cannot be corrected within the organization. If you send it in a PDF format, people can't counter your CV. They can't do any distinct they can't simply tamper with your CV. If you ask me simply, they can't tamper with your CV if you are sending it in a PDF format. So preferable, I mean, not a must that you have to send it in a PDF format, preferably in a PDF format. Now we did all these things, we spoke about what we need to do on our CV. Now we will have a short description what you should not do in your CV. Don't state your expectations out of a job. Extremely important. People say you should once I get a job in your company, I will have this particular cabin, I will have a AC thing, or I have 10 people who should report to me, my report should be this, that. No, they will throw your papers in the dustbin, however big or great guy you are. So you don't state your expectations to your employers. Rather, you have to tell him what you can contribute. Employer himself will decide what will be your expectations when you will end up at his desk. Okay, and don't name your current supervisors or contact info of your past employment. People do this blunder very, very often. Once they leave that company, they said, I was reporting to Mr. Nataraj Gowda, this is his phone number, you can contact him as my reference. Don't take names in the sense of your current supervisors. What it simply gives a data. See, if I am a employer, if I am looking for 7 years experience of Java, see how, let me give you a small example. Last month, for a very reputed retail company, we require, in based out of Bangalore, we were supposed to hire a CFO, Chief Financial Officer. And that company, which is situated in Bangalore, they wanted from one retail company, one particular guy from Chennai. We couldn't get his contacts or credentials. What we did is, we got that his junior to send his CV to us along with the reference of his boss, which he gave. And today, after taking his credentials from there, today his boss is working in a new company in Bangalore today as a CFO in a big retail outlet, very big retail company. So it is like inviting your own data to be given it to your prospective employer. Don't see. And as an employer, what I feel, if this guy can very well give his past company's details to me, he can give my details to my further employer also. So he will have that iota of doubt in mind. Make sure every year is accounted for. Employers will get suspicious if they see too much of vacuum. No, they should not have too much of vacuum in your CV. They will get very suspicious if there are too many gaps. No, disclose your past CTC and current CTC properly. So this is again a big problem that people do. What is your salary? I'm getting 6 lakhs. Now, you get okay, your interview is done, everything is done. Now, when you said, they ask you that Mr. Nataraj Gowda, you are selected, please send me your paper. Then he will send a paper. His fixed salary is 4.5 lakhs and his variable is 1.5 lakh. Variable is the bonus or any other things which will be added to his salary only if there is a performance. So comprising the CTC is 6 lakhs. So what I will do, as if I am a prospective employer, I will say, Your fixed is 4.5, so I will give you 5 lakhs, and then I will give you the ESOPs at next 1 lakh or 2 lakh, and your CTC will be 7 lakh, but your take home will be 5. You say no, I want CTC take home of 7 lakhs. Why this confusion is created? Because you have not shown your own figures properly. Whenever you give your expectation, whenever you say what you are currently drawing, please tell them this is what I am drawing, this is the allowance that I get, this is the extra bonus that they give me, and this is the extra, say, mobile or the that coupon, food coupons, what they give, the petrol allowance, whatever, etc., 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 that is provided. Please give a breakup. You can't account for everything in your new company and go say that you have to give me all of everything. If this company requires you to roam around and give you petrol allowance, and if the new company is an Indus job, why they will give you petrol allowance? So if there is a proper breakup of your salary with respect to CTC and ESOPs, you have to mention it very clearly. Otherwise, while the prospective employer will offer you, you will end up into trouble and they will not match your expectation. Okay. Don't paste any of the photograph your past employer or missionary or anything. There was one company in Pimia where that guy, he said, I have worked on all, it's a medical devices company. He sent his CV to me putting photographs of the machinery which he worked in his previous company, saying that I worked on this machine HL, that is some medical devices machine. Please don't do that. It is one against the law by way, and then it is highly unethical. So don't post any pictures of your previous. At the most, what we can use of your previous organization is the organization's logo on your CV. That is all you can use. No pictures. Right? Mention clearly your availability also. Whenever you apply, please mention that you are available for an interview when, you are available for a telephonic interview when, you are available for any other meeting when. So they just shortlist your CV, say come tomorrow, but you say, sir, tomorrow I'm not available. Sir, next 3 days I'm going to my hometown. So whatever it is, please be very crystal clear about your availability. And then appearance counts, but so does reliability. Skip fancy or ultra size fonts we have discussed, going too long and cutting things short. Ensure correct information. Professional affiliations, which I said, ensure you make your account on LinkedIn, Twitter, Skype, and mention addresses of these things in your resume. It gives a very, very, very professional look. Remember, good resume may not get you a job, but the bad resume will definitely reduce your chances of getting a job. Fine. So then, the final topic, covering letter. I will not prefer everybody to give a covering letter, but then as and when covering letters are given, when you are targeting a specific job, when you're applying for the right intent, I don't suggest everybody to write a covering letter and send. But then in case if you are sending a covering letter, send covering letter only if you are asked for. If the company has in its preview saying that please send your resume along with a covering letter, only then you do. When you have to send a covering letter, if you are sending a letter, your resume along with some reference, if Mr. Nataraj Gowda asked me, Sudheendra, please give me your CV, I will refer it to Mr. XYZ and that company. Then through him, I'll pass a covering letter. But if you're directly applying, and if you're applying to the company, and if the company doesn't require, as much as possible, avoid writing a covering letter. But then if you are asked to do so, please mention the proper name and designation of the person whom you are writing to. Mention details about why you are the best candidate. Mention why you should be considered for the interview. And don't use titles like to whomsoever it may concern, dear everybody, to everybody's preview, kind attention, all. Don't use these kind of things. Mention proper name and designation of the person whom you are writing the covering letter to. Letter is something which you intend to send to somebody. It is again not a general thing which you can just flash it across. And then mention how you need to be contacted. Of course, your contact information has to be in that covering letter. Fine. So basically, I hope I have covered in terms of resume writing with respect to all. Right from freshers to everything. If you have any questions, I can take 2 to 3 questions in case if there are any.
Class, please tell me how much minutes? How much minutes?
Hello.
How much minutes does it take?
Are there any questions? Can I go forward?
Yeah.
Okay. See, any questions you can address it to BALC, or I will share you my email ID also. So as and when I find time, I can write back to you. But then, so when need further advice, you can always contact BALC. You have the details and credentials of BALC. You have my email ID also mentioned on the screen. So thank you very much. I thank Mr. Nataraj Gowda, BALC. Hope this session is of some use to you. Usually, there's a lot of blunders that people do. I always believe writing the correct way in depicting yourself can get more people job than what they are today. They are capable, they have that ability, they have the skill set, they have the education, but just because they don't present themselves, people are not getting the jobs. So let me hope that after this session, certain basic mistakes that people do, or certain things that has to be incorporated, will be done by you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sudheendra.